Hello everybody and welcome to the start of our course. We're going to learn the Mozart Great Mass in C minor. I am beside myself, everyone. This is just the most exciting piece of music, and I'm just so delighted we have a fantastic, huge choir joining us for this course. You are all very, very welcome, whether it is the evening where you are, whether it's first thing in the morning. And hello to those of you who've got up really early in the morning to be here. Jeffrey, hello to you, and to everyone else, welcome. Bear with me a moment. As always, I shall be right with you. I just want to run through my now pretty legendarily customary sound checks, because we've got lots and lots of fantastic music to talk about, and I hope you're excited as I am about this. Such a fantastic piece of music. Bear with me. Be right with you. So we have a working piano at Baroque pitch. More on that very shortly. If I need an acoustic, I have the wonderful cathedral here in Salzburg. And I just want to check the tracks here. So bear with me. And don't listen too carefully, because I don't want to spoil the surprise. Actually, I've already spotted something I need to change. It's quite useful on my set of magic buttons over here to have the option, should I need it, to turn the sound up and down if things are a little bit loud and I'm getting blasted. So let's just make sure that's not going to be too loud and just check we've got the Gloria. Here we go. Gloria. That's a yes. Kyrie. Good. Laudamus. We'll have a little bit of solo work tonight just to show you some of the treats we've got in store. My favourite movement of all, Qui Tollis. Jesu, Christe. It's all a bit quiet at the moment. That's deliberate. Oh. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, got quite swept away there. And then the Sancto Spiritu fugue. Believe me, we're going to be spending a fair bit of time on this one. Here we go. That's the easy bit. Those of you that know the Mozart know what follows. Oh my goodness. Well, a very good evening, everyone. We're obviously not going to start officially for another 5 or 6 minutes. This is just me now nattering and saying hello to all of you. Hello to everyone who's joining us later on who can't necessarily be here live, but is watching nonetheless. And thank you for signing up for this course. And hello to everyone who is here live and not here in the chat. Hope you're looking forward to this as much as I am. And hello to everyone who is here. Goodness me, this is a huge crowd, and it is fabulous to have you all with me. I shall do my best to welcome you all by name. So the list I've got here, those of you that know, is the list of people who've been chatting in the last few minutes. And this is what YouTube has shown me. So if I do miss you off, my huge apologies. I shall see if I can catch all names as they flash past in the comments. So, good evening to Ati. Hello to Alexandra. Hello to Alison. Hola to Anna and hola Jota. Hello to Andrea. Hello, Andrew. Good afternoon to Angela. Hello to Angie. Lovely to see you. Hello to Anna and Anne. Hello, Anne. Hello, BB. Hello to Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Breda. Hello to Brenda. Hello to Carol and to Caroline. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Mark. How exciting is this? Amazing. Hello, Christine. Hello, Christine. Hello, Christine. Hello, Claire. Hello, Claudia. Oh, there's more people now. Oh, it's all jumping now. Oh, my goodness. Hello to Anne, who's just arrived as well. We have 3 Annes, which is fabulous. So, where were we? It's already gone wrong. Hello to Claire and Claudia and Cynthia. Hello to Dave and Jill. Good evening to Deborah. Hello, Dennis. Wonderful to have you here. You hear the clicking now. This is just me trying to keep up with the list as it jumps around. Hello, Dorothy. Hello to Elizabeth. And to Elizabeth and Ellen and Elspeth and Emma and Evelyn. Hello, Fred. Hello, Jeffrey. Very early in the morning for you. Bless you for being here. Hello, George. Hello, Jill. Hello, Gillian. Hello, Gina. Hello, Glennis. Hello, Gloria. Good evening to Grace. Hello, Helga. No, that's Epi, of course. Hello, Epi. Hello, Hildegard. Some names I haven't seen in a long time. It's lovely to have you all here. Hello to Iris. Hello, Jackie and Gwen. Hello to Jane. Hello, Jane. Hello, Janet. Hello, Janet. Hello, Jean. Only halfway, and the list is already behind. We've had another Anne join us. Hello, Anne. Hello, Bronwyn. Hello, Carla. Right, I'm going to click on down the list. Oh my goodness, there are so many of you. This is fantastic. And so I said hello to Janet and Jean. Hello to Jenny and Jenny and Jill and Jill and Joe and Josie and Joy and Judith and Julie and Karen and Karin and Kathy and Leonora and Lisa and Lisa and Liz and Liz and Linda and Linda. Hello Michael, hello Mary and Mary, hello Michael and Mike. Quick skip down the list. This list is huge. Fantastic to have everyone here. Hello Ian and Margaret. I saw your names flash by there. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get through everyone at this rate. There's just so many people chatting. I can't keep up the list. My right fingers don't fail me now. Hello Helen. No. And we've got another Christine and Sheila and Stephanie and Sue and everyone. No, I can't keep it up. I saw Philomena there and Wendy and Trisha and Ulla and Terry and Sarah. Look, everyone, I can't keep up with the list. There's so many of you. This is wonderful. And you are all very, very welcome to our course this evening. That's got to be the biggest turn up. We've got over 210 people currently in the chat. And that is just too many for my poor computer. It's now showing me this page is using significant memory. Closing it may improve the responsiveness of your Mac. Well, I don't care. I don't need a responsive Mac. I just need a responsive choir and a responsive conductor. Well, you are all very welcome. If I haven't welcomed you by name yet, when you come along to the rehearsals later this week, obviously sopranos, altos, tenors, basses, I will say hello to you. But you are all very, very welcome. As you can probably tell, I'm quite excited. No, scratch that. I'm immensely excited. This is one of my all-time favourite pieces. I know I say that every time, and it's true, but this is a special one because I've never had the privilege of conducting it with a face-to-face choir before. I've wanted to conduct it. I have been in it several times. I've sung the solos and I've sung in the chorus parts as a bass. And I fell absolutely head over heels in love with this piece when I sang it with the Bristol Chamber Choir back in, would have been 1999, ladies and gentlemen, in the last century. And we sang it at the gorgeous church of St Mary Redcliffe here in Bristol. Those of you who were on my creation course will remember the sound and the sight of that building. So just imagine that huge, gorgeous, almost cathedral-like building. But it was performed with a Baroque orchestra. Which is a key aspect to our performance that we're going to be working on over the coming weeks. It changed the way I thought about classical music, and I mean classical with a big C. That is the music of C.P. Bach and Mozart and Haydn and Clementi and to some extent Beethoven. I never in my wildest dreams took a moment to think, well, of course, the change to absolute pitch at A equals 440 didn't really happen until the 19th century, so Mozart's music would have sounded at the same pitch as that of Bach and Handel and the Baroque masters, and it completely changes the way we sing the piece. It changes the way the piece sounds. It is just staggering. So when we decided to do this wonderful work, it had to be done at Baroque pitch. Oh, look, everyone, 270, 280 people, 290. This is fabulous. Well, look, we have much to discuss. We have some gorgeous music to enjoy this evening. And I need to fill you in on some of the particularly lovely details about our project that we'll be working on together for the coming weeks. But I'm so excited to be back with wonderful Choir of the Earth and looking at a big, big chunky work, something we can really get our teeth stuck into over the coming weeks and full head over heels in love with. So do please enjoy tonight's session. This is a full choir session, so if you are new, please do pop up here in the comments. I know it's moving quickly, but do pop up and say hello. This is a wonderful community. Don't forget we have a forum, and please do visit the forum and make yourself known. It is a fantastic, truly global community. We're being joined currently by people from all over the world, from here in Europe, in America, in Australia, in Singapore, globally. We are all together. I believe there's even someone joining us tonight from South Africa. So do enjoy. It's time to get started. And I'm going to go full screen. Here we go. A very, very good evening, Choir of the Earth, and thank you so much for joining us tonight at the launch of our wonderful course, Mozart's Great Mass in C minor. This is a monolithic work, a very, very important piece of writing, one of the defining great masses, one of the defining Missa solemnities of the choral era. Really, if you can put this alongside Bach's Mass in B minor and Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, and this very much stands tall. Interestingly, particularly when you consider Mozart didn't finish it. So this is another one of those works, a bit like the Requiem. We don't know what it would have sounded like if he'd actually completed it, and we will get to how we're going to handle that as we move forwards. First of all, I want to just say very, very warm welcome to anyone who's joining Choir of the Earth for the first time. We were formed in March of 2020 as a response to the pandemic, and we have grown to an immensely musical and very accomplished choir over the last couple of years. We've just been working on the incredible Mahler 8. We recorded Haydn's Creation last year, Mozart's Requiem, so many wonderful, wonderful pieces. And this incredible Mass, well, we were thinking of doing this later in the year, but then, of course, the Omicron variant struck, and Mark, who's the founder of the choir, who's here, and you'll see him popping up in the chat there in a yellow box, he and I discussed that we really needed something that would work as a warm blanket, really, to wrap around ourselves and to allow us to come together as a choir and focus on this and just let the outside world do what it needs to do. And so we decided at rather short notice to do the Mozart here rather than later in the year. And so you're very welcome. Thank you for signing up for this. We're joined on the course by our wonderful friends at the Fieri Consort, who have been recording and are currently recording the lead tracks for us. Again, for those of us that are new, we will work on the individual movements in sectional rehearsals starting tomorrow. And we have sopranos, altos, tenors, basses on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we will continue that through over the coming weeks until we have learnt the entire work, and then it will be over to you to record your parts. We will then work on those. We will put those all together in the studio with our fantastic sound engineers, and then later in the year we will all come back together and we will enjoy your sound. Again, if you're new to the choir, do have a look at some of our past work. Look at our performance of the Mozart Requiem, which we were working on this time a year ago, and you will, I think, understand why this is really a unique and very special choir. So, everyone, let's turn our attention to this great Mass in C minor. And the first thing to say is that, well, we're going to perform it at Baroque pitch. As I was just saying in my preamble, Baroque pitch is the pitch that Mozart would have heard this music at. That is to say, it's generally around about a semitone lower than what we think of as concert pitch. So if that's an A, that would have been an A in Mozart's time. So when we hear the C minor Mass in concert pitch, it sounds like that. Our version is going to sound like this. And it is remarkable, the impact of dropping everything down by a semitone. It makes it darker. It makes it more engaging. It certainly makes it easier in some ways for us to hit those high notes. And there are quite a few high notes in this one. It does mean that some of you who are perhaps used to singing bass may decide to sing tenor. I've had messages today from a couple of singers who said they do that. But overall, I love this piece at Baroque pitch. Now, what that means is that we've had to do something slightly different for this course. Usually we would have our wonderful organist Richard Gowers record it on a magnificent cathedral organ, or at least a church with a fantastic instrument. But of course there are no churches or cathedrals in the UK that have organs tuned to Baroque pitch. So we've done something rather special, and Richard has recorded using a digital instrument, and the tracks that you're going to be singing along with over the coming weeks have a temporary organ, but you won't hear the final magnificent organ sound until the concert. And we're really quite excited about this. We're going to be using an instrument which has been sampled by the people at Spitfire Audio, which is a brilliant UK-based sound sampling system. And we're going to be using the Union Chapel organ, which comes from the Union Chapel in London, built by the master Henry Willis, who also went on to build the organ at St Paul's Cathedral. It is a fantastic sound, and we will be using that as the basis of our recordings. So everyone, I think we should crack on and listen to some of this and sing along with it. And I'm going to talk about various bits as we go through. I could, as you know, those of you that know me, talk for hours about Mozart and his choral writing. And I will give you a little flavour as we go through this evening about the history of this piece. But I'm going to save the very best for an Around Sound course, which will start in a few weeks' time. There'll be details of that coming out. I'm going to do a special Around Sound lasting 6 weeks, looking at Mozart, who is just here over my shoulder, peeking out from behind the books, on Mozart and his writing for chorus, looking at the Coronation Mass, looking at the C minor Mass, looking at the Requiem. Details of that will follow, but I'll keep most of the most of the vital information in our rehearsals to music. So what I think we'll do is we'll have a very quick warm-up. Please be upstanding. We'll warm up in Baroque pitch this evening, so a semitone lower, just to make sure we're sounding appropriately gravelly. So if I could invite you all, if you're not already standing, to stand up, plant those feet a shoulder's width apart, roll your shoulders around a little bit just to loosen yourself up. Fabulous to have everyone here. Gosh, what a huge turnout. Amazing. Rolling your shoulders back the other way, everyone. And then bring your shoulders up to your ears. Deep breath. And then breathe out and let your shoulders fall. Very nice indeed. Just gently allow your head to fall in one direction, just to stretch these muscles on this side. Great. And the other way. Fabulous. And to the middle and forwards, please. Great. And then just let your head gently roll around. Great job. Okay, thanks everyone. So what I think we should do is to sing together a couple of arpeggios. And this is Baroque pitch C minor. So this is the same as B minor if you're playing on a modern instrument. So we're just going to hum up and down. Nice deep breath. And again. Now an ooh. And oh. And an ah. Now basses and altos might want to drop down the octave. It's up to you. And one more. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. As I say, a very brief warm-up tonight. Some people might want to just listen and hum along as we go through. We're not going to do any detailed work on any of these movements. I do want to present as many as I can. One thing to just note at this point is that the Fieri Consort are recording literally as we speak. And so we don't yet have all of the files recorded. But as we go through over the coming weeks, we will have everything. We've got 6 out of the set so far, and there are more arriving every day. So what we're going to play you this evening is what we have finished and ready for you to rehearse along with. And thankfully, the very first movement, Kyrie, is among them. So if you could all please open your scores. Now, we're using this very interesting edition, published by Breitkopf and Hertel, I should say. And this is a version that was completed by Aloysius Schmidt. And this is a very famous / infamous version because he actually went ahead and completed the Mass. I said it wasn't actually finished. Mozart wrote the Kyrie and the Gloria and bits of the Credo. He also wrote the Sanctus and the Benedictus, but there was no Agnus Dei. And there were big chunks of the Credo missing. And there are various modern interpretations that either leave it out or kind of have a go at reconstructing. And Schmidt, well, he's a very important character. He actually brought the work out of obscurity, really, because it was unfinished. It wasn't actually considered to be usable. And Schmidt took the work, edited it, added in bits and pieces, which he brought in from other Mozart works and used detective work to kind of fill in, a little bit like Susmer did for the Requiem. And so we're going to sing his completed version. And there are a number of good reasons for this, one of which, and the most honest and obvious one, is that this is the score that everyone can get legally for free through IMSLP. And so that means a huge amount of time and money, and the world's precious resources are saved by doing that. But also historically, there's a lot of interesting, very musical decisions made for this one. And so I think there's a very good reason to sing along with this. Now, we're going to have a look at the first movement, Kyrie eleison. Now, this is a grand mass. This is a Missa Solemnis, as opposed to a Missa Brevis. A full mass with the Kyrie, the Gloria, the full credo, Sanctus Benedictus, to be sung at an actual at a service. And so Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison is Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. And in the middle of this you have the most exquisite soprano solo, and you will hear Mozart's writing for the soprano in this is some of the most beautiful writing he ever wrote for a soprano voice out of the opera house. And there's a very good reason for this. He wrote it for his wife Constanza. More on that in a minute. Let's enjoy, with Richard Gowers on the organ. Remember, it's not the final organ sound. And the wonderful Fieri consort. Let's sing through and enjoy the Kyrie from Mozart's Great Mass in C minor. Here we go, everyone. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually going to pinch myself. I have wanted to conduct that for most of my life, and to know that we're going to learn that together, starting tomorrow, just fills me with such excitement. Isn't that just exquisite music? Oh my goodness me. And remember, Mozart wrote this when he was still in his 20s. He was a young chap when he wrote this. Little bit of historical background. Just grab a drink. Allow me a minute before we look on at the Gloria. Mozart, as you know, was a child prodigy, and he was dragged all over Europe by his father, and was made to play for the great heads of state, and got to see huge amounts of the world before he was a teenager. He then returned to Salzburg, and frankly found it a little bit of a bore. You know, having seen London and Rome and Paris, here he was back home, and he didn't like it. His father had found him a job with the Archbishop, and he resigned and went off to Paris and went off to explore Europe on his own. He returned to Salzburg when his father found him a better job. But later on, when he visited Vienna, he decided that that was the place to be, not Salzburg, which he saw as a little bit parochial, a little bit of a backwater. He wanted to be in Vienna. And so in 1781, he asked to leave the employ of the Archbishop, who said no. So he made himself into such a pain that in 1781 he was dismissed, literally, and this is a quote, so do forgive me, some of you might to cover your ears, dismissed with a kick up the arse. Okay, he was actually booted out because he was so much trouble. He found his way to Vienna, and he made his way there with the intention of being a freelance composer in the 18th century, which is almost unheard of. You had to have a rich patron, otherwise you were going to starve on the street. And he managed to make his way just about, and fell in love with the daughter of his landlord, a young lady called Constanza. He tried to woo her older sister, but she was already promised to someone else, and he fell head over heels in love with Constanza. And this mass is the result. He wrote this piece of music, this wonderful, wonderful, great mass, almost as an offering for Constanza. It wasn't for a rich patron. It wasn't designed for a particular occasion. And that, I think, is one of the most charming and most wonderful things about this mass. That incredible soprano solo, which was Lucy Cox, wonderful, wonderful Lucy, in the middle, where she sings all the way down to that Christe, Christe, astonishing singing. Well, it's very clear Constanza had an incredible range. And so all of these wonderful, wonderful soprano solos that you're going to hear, you have to imagine, were written with the loving pen of a man who was besotted with his wife. Oh, isn't that lovely? Now, from our point of view as a choir, the challenges of that first movement, well, from my point of view, it's making sure I don't get completely swept up in the music, which is in itself a bit of a challenge because it's so beautiful. But no, that, in all seriousness, we have some fantastic lines here. Those moments where those voices in between start clashing against each other. Very Baroque. Again, we'll talk more about that in a minute. This is one of the more Baroque pieces that Mozart wrote, and there's a very good reason for it. Dynamically, as you can see as we glance through the score, not a huge amount of variation other than loud and quiet, but that's entirely typical of the time. And just this drama of the descending line. Kyrie and so on. Really very, very dramatic and very exciting. So that will be the first piece we start with this week. And I'm so looking forward to it. Now, over the page, everyone, the other piece we'll be looking at, in all certainty, is the Gloria, which follows straight on. How's everyone doing in the comments? Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, Connor's here. Hello, Connor. Now, you might see Connor in the chat, those of you who are here live. Connor is our lead recording engineer. He's done a huge amount of work already in mixing these tracks for us and supervising the organ recording. So thank you, Connor. And looking forward hugely to working with you on this. Now, the Gloria is very interesting. Well, it's all very interesting. It's in C major. And an entirely separate thing, which I'll talk about in the Around Sound course about this Mass, is that it's called the Great Mass in C minor because they looked at the first page and went, well, it's C minor. But if you look And all of the movements, there's actually a huge amount to say that it's actually in C major. It's just the first movement happens to be in the minor, but that's for another time. This is bright. It's contrapuntal, so counterpoint is where you have lots of voices interweaving, and there's a little bit later on which makes it very clear that Mozart had just the year before been studying the music of Handel. Listen to this. What does that sound like? So more on that in a minute. Let's have a look at the Gloria, which starts on page 10. As I say, bright, vibrant, exciting, a huge shout of praise. So here we go, everyone. Gloria.
Gloria in excelsis.
Another extraordinary movement, brilliantly sung by the Fieri consort. And this is the thing I was saying just the other day to the people who were singing on our Let There Be Light concert course. We get to work with some of the very, very best musicians in the world, and the Fieri consort, I truly believe, are the best in the world at this, at actually recording lead tracks. They do it better than pretty much anyone I've ever worked with. Wonderful singers, and we will of course be hearing them throughout the course. So there we are, everyone. As I say, very, very Baroque. I haven't glanced at the comments, but people saying lots of eggshells, absolutely, and some fun runs there. That's the way to put it, Denise. Absolutely. That don't be afraid of runs, everyone. And there are some. There's a fugue in a minute that I'll play you. That will lead, that a few people will perhaps they'll feel a little bit of trepidation. Entirely understandable. But remember, this is the choir that recorded Handel's Messiah in lockdown in 8 weeks, and that last Amen is not easy. Neither is For Unto Us a Child is Born. All of those fugues. So there's nothing in the Mozart that is as runny as that. And what we have instead is something that I said is very, very Baroque. Now, again, for those of you for whom Baroque and classical are just sort of words, the Baroque era is that all-important period between around 1600 and 1750, which produced composers like Henry Purcell, Vivaldi, Corelli, Bach. I mentioned Handel, probably not Handel. You know, the music personified and shown, I suppose, through use of strings, harpsichord, and very, very intricate part writing that works like quite mechanically. I don't mean that in any sort of negative sense. Now, Mozart is a classical composer. His works come later in the 18th century, but pivotally, he was exposed in the year 1781, the year he was dismissed with the kick up the, he was dismissed, but he met a chap called Gottfried van Swieten. Now, those of us who were on the creation course will remember that name. He's a very, very important chap in the 18th and early 19th century. He was a good friend to Haydn and actually wrote the text, the libretto for the creation and subsequently the seasons. He met Mozart. One of the things he asked Mozart to do is to arrange Handel's Messiah for a classical orchestra. That came later. But he introduced Mozart to the music of Bach and Handel in 1781. And this, by all accounts, caused a bit of a crisis for Mozart because, of course, he'd been told that these guys were all old hat. But he was shown the music and, of course, was astonished at its complexity, at its genius and its musicality. And so you can hear Mozart taking on board all the lessons that Bach and Handel, who at this point have been dead for decades, but lessons they were teaching him through their writing. You can hear that just throughout this wonderful mass. And in that Gloria, yes, there was definitely a quote from the Hallelujah chorus, the in excelsis, in excelsis, in excelsis, hallelujah, hallelujah. Very, very Handelian, and there'll be more touches later on. You also note that the Et in Terra Pax, I've just seen Mark put a poll up. Who's sung this before? Interesting to see. The Et in Terra Pax, of course, refers to and in earth peace. So we're coming down from heaven, down to earth, everything descending. Beautiful writing. So those two works will form the bulk of what we're looking at in this week's rehearsals. I want to play you a little bit. In fact, no, I'm going to play you an entire solo movement because you deserve it. I'm going to play the Laudamus Te, and this is for soprano here. And remember, this would have been written for Constanza to sing, for his wife. And so let's enjoy a little moment of solo. I wouldn't normally do this at the start of a course, but after this, we're going to sing something truly astonishing. So let's enjoy Laudamus Te, which follows straight on from the Gloria on page 16 of our score. And remember, this was written from a place of pure love. Here we go, everyone.
Laudamus
So, goodness me, I hope you were singing along at home, particularly the basses. Gosh, you can hear the love in the writing. We also have to take our headphones off. I'm not wearing a hat, so I can't do that. Take our headphones off to Richard Gowers and to Lucy for that astonishing performance. Remember, in most choirs, you don't get to hear the solo until the day of the concert, and even then, remember, if you're in the choir, you don't get to hear the solo. You get to see the back of the soloist as they sing it out to the audience. So we're very privileged indeed. Okay, everyone. So let's have a look at something that we're all going to be involved with. So we will have a look at the Gratias next week. We're missing just one part for that, which is being recorded at the moment. But the Gratias is very Baroque indeed. Just have a quick look at it. We're not going to sing it tonight, but you can see this dom, this sort of rhythm, dum, da dum, da dum, bum, dum, da dum. Very, very Baroque indeed, very Handelian, and also very, very reminiscent of Bach, of course. Then there's a wonderful duet between the sop and mezzo, which we won't look at tonight. In fact, I'll do my best not to play that to you until the concert. But let's all look, please, at page 30. This is movement number 6, and this is the Qui Tollis. And this is absolutely stunning. One of my absolute favourite pieces of choral music, bar none. I'm so excited to sing this. Now, the first thing to point out, of course, everyone, is that this is for double choir. So when we come to learn this, we will have to do double duty in our rehearsals, and we'll do, right, this is, for example, alto 1, and then the alto 2 rehearsal will follow straight on, all within the same session, of course, but it will all be recorded. And this means that you can do something completely unique. For those of you that have never sung with this choir before, you can record more than one part. You can be, for example, if you're an alto, you can record the alto and tenor parts for both choirs if you want to. This is one of the great things about our digital choir. Now, this is extremely Baroque, exceptionally Handelian, and we are taking this at a pretty decent clip. I've heard this played at sort of... even slower. Ba-bam, da-dum, da-dum. Really slow. We're taking it at a faster pace, thinking very much of the example of Bach, and think about the opening of the St. Matthew Passion. You know, I think it has to be a heartbeat, and so let's enjoy this. We may even tonight, because I love it so much and because we're singing double choir, I think we'll have this one twice. And I'm going to encourage you, if you're a soprano, follow along soprano in choir 1, this first playthrough, and then follow along soprano 2 in the second one. Similarly for altos, tenors, basses. Just get a real sense of the magnitude of this piece. It is grand, it is epic, and it is just fantastic. So let's enjoy for the first time Qui Tollis. Here we go. goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, I am a mass of goosebumps. My goodness me. Even in that form, without the final organ sounds, solo voices, that music just hits you like a sledgehammer. It's incredible. I've said a number of times, many times, at the heart of good music is tension and release. And that's the same with all communication. It's the musical equivalent of what's in the box. What's going to happen? There's a crunch. I'm happy with that crunch as long as it goes somewhere. And this piece is built on that tension, ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and finally ending just where it needs to. Isn't that just exquisite? And I can hear already, this is one of the advantages, I think, of having done this job for very nearly 2 years. I can hear your voices, Choir of the Earth. I can hear you in that, singing along with Fieri in your own version. It's going to be astonishing. I would like to do that again. And this is entirely selfish. We could carry on, but I want to sing it again. Whichever part you were following along first time, follow along in the other choir. Okay? And just a couple of things to just point out, since we've already heard it. The miserere, which is all syncopated. Just that, I love the feel of that against that dum, da-dum, da-dum, which is so very, very baroque. That heartbeat and the offbeat singing against the heartbeat is so clever. Those wonderful moments. The sushi pace is the same, but when we get towards the end, where the choir calls and answers, miserere, miserere, miserere nobis, and then this chord, tension. It's just so beautifully written, and I can't wait to teach it to you. This will be in next week's sessions, but I couldn't wait to share it with you today. Let's enjoy it a second time, and then we still have time for a couple of more delights before we finish for today. So whichever part you sang before, have a look at the corresponding part in the other choir. And here we go for the second time. It's almost better the second time, isn't it, everyone? My goodness me. One thing to note, of course, you will all have seen in the score where you change dynamic from forte suddenly down to piano in the middle of a long note. I mean, very advanced for the time, and the effect is just staggering. I can't wait to get started on that one. We'll have to wait because that one is on next week's list. But do start having a look at this. I mean, do get the this wonderful mass playing in your car. Just be careful that you get the Baroque pitch recording. Okay, a good one to look out for those of you with streaming services and things like that. The wonderful recording by Christopher Hogwood and the Academy of Ancient Music is fantastic. I got it for Christmas the year we sang this because my wife, she was then my girlfriend, Anna. I wouldn't stop going on and on about this piece. And actually, just while we were singing that through the second time, I had a vivid recollection of singing that movement at St Mary Redcliffe here in Bristol and feeling sad. And those of you that have sung pieces that you adore more than anything, you know this feeling. It's like when you're eating the best meal you've ever had and you can see you've only got a couple of mouthfuls left. And I remember singing this and thinking, I hope I get to sing this again soon. And saying to the conductor, to Kevin, can we sing this again soon? And he went, yes, of course. It's been a long time. And I am so thrilled that we're learning this now. Fabulous stuff. Now, look, we have a few minutes left, and the music for this week will be, as I say, the Kyrie and the Gloria. But I want to just jump ahead and just show you a couple of the pieces we've got coming up. One of which in particular, you're going to want to have a listen to and start to get a bit of a head start on. So can we turn please to page 48, everyone? How's everyone doing in the comments? Hogwood, yes, indeed, Catherine. Hogwood was the conductor of the Academy of Ancient Music, and the new conductor is a chap called Lawrence Cummings, who some of us will remember. He was the wonderful harpsichordist and orchestra leader on our Messiah project. And what a wonderful chap he is. And cheers, Lawrence. Well, let's just say we taught him everything he knows. Didn't mean that. So, everyone, page 48 of the score, you see a very short little movement, Jesu Christe, which is very Baroque. You have these teeny tiny little slow movements followed by a fugue. You see, I mean, Vivaldi does it. The Gratias Agimus Tibi in the Gloria, which is followed by a fugue. Think of how many times Handel does this, Bach does this. So we have a grand, almost fanfare-like choral moment, followed by, I won't sugarcoat it, ladies and gentlemen, a pretty tricky bit of singing. The Cum Sancto Spiritu. It is marvellous. It looks really very hard indeed. I'm pleased to say it's only very hard. Okay, it looks a lot harder than it is on the paper, but when you actually come to sing it, because Mozart is a genius, the way he's written it, he writes it in patterns and sequences. So once you've got one shape, it then transfers down, and you'll see what I mean as we go through. Don't some of you might look at this and go, oh my goodness, that's it. You know, I'm not going to record that one. Please don't be in that boat. We will work on it. We will use all the techniques at our disposal. I've got some, those of you that have been singing with me know I've got various techniques to help with semiquavers. I've got some more for those of you that don't like the inverse dot. Okay, so stick with me. Let's enjoy movements 8 and 8 plus, Cum Sancto Spiritu, and then I will see you tomorrow. Well, let's enjoy this now. So let me give you your notes. So we're still at Baroque pitch. So we've got C major. Do you see what I mean? Lots of C major. Mozart, Great Mass in C minor. We'll see. So everyone, Jesu Christe, here we go.
Yeah.
Letter C. Top of 54. Letter D. Letter E. Top of 57. Letter F. Letter H. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. That is without doubt the trickiest bit of singing in the entire Mass, but we will devote an entire rehearsal to that fugue. We will spend all the time we need to make sure that you have everything you need in order to sing along, enjoy and record that. And those of you whose eyes are spinning, remember this is the choir that's recorded Handel's Messiah, Mahler 8, Beethoven 9, Verdi's Requiem. I mean, we have already tackled some seriously challenging music, and this has the virtue of being written by the greatest composer ever to walk the planet. So well done, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I look at the poll. Mark's just written easy peasy. Well, Mark, that's your solo sorted. Looking at the poll there, it seems that 67% of those who are here tonight have never sung it before. Oh, I'm so pleased. Those of you that have sung it before will back me up. It is the most astonishingly wonderful piece to sing, and those of you that have never sung it before, it is my honor and privilege to lead you through it. Starting tomorrow, we will look at the Kyrie and the Gloria, so please do have a listen to those in advance, and I will look forward to seeing you sopranos tomorrow, altos then on Wednesday, tenors and basses on Thursday and Friday. As always though, for those of you who are new to the choir, you might think, oh well, I'll only come to my rehearsal, but please do come along and keep us company. It's always good, actually, I find, if possible, for people to come along to more than the one rehearsal, just to hear what's going on in the other parts. It also gives you an opportunity, of course, to sing your part against some of the others, and we love seeing you. So do please come along and join us on any of the rehearsals this week, but I will see you all together on Monday next week. We'll sing through the movements that we've done this week. I promise they will look very, very different, having spent several hours working on them in sections. And we'll look ahead to next week's music. But I'm so delighted to have a huge choir for this. There is still time to join, so if you have any friends, any colleagues who you think might appreciate this lovely music, do get them along. and I will see sopranos tomorrow. Have a fantastic week, everyone. We're off in the company of the great man himself, whose birthday it is this week. So in particular, on the 27th of January, come along to the tenor rehearsal, as will be, and we will all sing happy birthday to Mr. Mozart. In the meantime, everyone, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. All the very best. Bye-bye.